What's going on YouTube? Magnolia Mohair and welcome back to my channel. If you are in the market for a DAC and a headphone amplifier that doesn't break the bank, then look no further. Today we are going to talk about the FiiO K7 truly balanced DAC and amplifier. I want to thank Rosemary at Aphos for sending me this review sample. What makes this DAC so special, right? To start off with, this has the dual THX AAA 788 Plus amplifier, has dual AK4493 SEQ DACs for each channel. It's got the RGB status indicators, right, where the lights will change depending on the sampling rate when you turn it on. There's a multicolored LED that comes on. It's pretty cool. In addition, it has the headphone amp preamp dual output mode. It also has two levels of hardware gain, right? So you can adjust the gain depending on the headphones that you're using. And obviously then it works with a variety of headphones, right, that require a lot of power or the ones that are very efficient. This uses the same THX AAA 788 Plus amplifiers as found in the higher end K9 model. The K7 is capable of outputting 560 milliwatts into 300 ohms at 1% distortion and 200 milliwatts into 32 ohm load at 1% distortion. This ensures both high and low impedance headphones deliver the quality and the musicality that you're looking for. The dual AK4493 SEQ DACs deliver rich and full sound overall that's fun to listen to, and it's not dry at all in my listening experience. The decoding is performed by the Exmos XUF208 decoder chip, which uses dual clock management to handle various music formats. To me, the biggest selling point of this particular DAC is the capability to play all the way up to 768 kilohertz, including DSD, up to 11.2 megahertz. The only negative is MQA files. Does not have an MQA renderer or decoder, which to me, is not a big deal because I listen to, I have Tidal, and Tidal basically did away with all of their MQA libraries, so now everything is in FLAC. So MQA is the only negative, and I don't think it means a lot to a lot of people because there are some people who absolutely hate MQA and there are others who love it, right? So it's one half dozen other, and in that case, I don't think it's such a negative, as far as this particular DAC is concerned. But the THX technology, for your headphone amps, that is a major plus in my opinion. It's got three different outputs, right? The first one is the low, which basically is if you want to use this as a DAC into a preamp or a processor, the volume is controlled through your processor, and it's all this is going to do is going to act as a USB DAC using the USB connector right there. The second is the pre-out, which is if you want to use this with powered speakers and control the volume, with this particular DAC. The third is, output to headphones. Again, you will control the volume through here. So you can use it with headphones, you can use it with speakers, powered speakers, or you can use it as a DAC. The high and the low gain right here essentially will allow you to use this DAC or the headphone amp capabilities of this particular unit, with a variety of headphones, right, to find that comfortable listening level with your headphones. From a build standpoint, this is an all aluminum alloy construction, right? So it's nicely built in my opinion, and finished with the gold THX and high res logo and the LED status indicators. This looks like a nice unit, right, when I put it with the rest of my system over there. The input button is pretty easy to use. It'll go between USB, optical, coax, and line in, and there is a little bit of a delay, so it doesn't just switch right away. It switches, and then the volume kind of comes up, so it's smooth. It's not just all of a sudden. Finishing out the front, you have a 6.35 millimeter and 4.4 millimeter output, for a balanced output or direct, headphone out. in the front. And then in the back, we have your pre, right, the low output, which is what I use to connect to my Marantz and to the Uralic B50 here in my desktop setup. It's got a line in, so you can use analog input from another DAC or from another source, coax input, optical input, USB input, and then a 12-volt power supply. So that's basically the lay of the land, and you know, about this DAC. I actually, it's very impressive. It's not too big, and you know, it goes well with the rest of my equipment, right? It's black. So how does this DAC sound? In one word, amazing, right? The soundstage is deep, extra deep. It's wide, and you're actually transported into the music while listening to this DAC, right? And the biggest thing that I got from it was the richness, right? If I was to describe it, the richness in everything that I played, you know, not just acoustic music or not just rock or pop or whatever. It didn't matter what I threw at it. It actually bested my trusted Project Pre-Box S2 digital that I've had for many years. I think I purchased it in 2019 or 2020. I can't remember exactly when, and I've had it since then. You guys have heard me talk about this right? This the Stereophile Test CD 3 that I have. I have the Test CD, the original one, the 1, 2, and 3. But I like the third edition the best. All three of them have you know, various tracks that you can listen and evaluate. You know, your speakers, your amplifiers, your DACs, right? But what they have that a lot of these other test CDs, right, don't have is they actually tell you what to listen for, right? So and there are two tracks that I actually turn to when I'm listening to or when I'm using this Stereophile Test CD 3, right? The first one is the Dick Hyman Topsy track. It's piano, it's jazz, right? And the second one is more acoustic, right? It's Sarah K. History Repeats Itself, right? So for Sarah K first, right? Turning to that track, right? What we should listen for. This track, right, captures the true sounds and images of musicians playing acoustic instruments in real space, rather than sounding like shaped and textured white noise. The cymbals should all sound very different from one another. The brush snare drum should be heard illuminating the acoustic, while the kick drum supplies the musical punctuation, and it should be delicately outlined rather than being an indistinct sounding boom or thud. Then the most important thing here is the muted trumpet. The muted trumpet should be readily identifiable as an acoustic instrument, you know, not like a synthesized instrument. So I listened to that, and I'm just going to give you a sample of that, right? What I heard was essentially what was just described here, right? And it actually did sound like a wall of sound, you know, with the instruments laid out exactly how it is described in here. So the next track that I listen to is, or I use for evaluation, is Topsy by Dick Hyman. What you should hear is check out the superb manner in which Professor Keith Johnson has captured the sounds and images of musicians playing acoustic instruments in real space. The drums should be well set back behind the plane of the loudspeakers. The double bass should have a rich roundness to its tone, and Dick Hyman's jabs on the piano should be almost icy in clarity. So when you actually listen to this and you get into this particular track, you do feel the jabs on the piano get icy as you're going, as the track progresses, and the drums, you know, you kind of hear them well set back. I got all of that using, you know, this particular DAC and the combination, you know, with my Marantz, the Macintosh, and these speakers was very close to what is described in here. One of my favorite tracks these days is Playing God by Polyphia. If you haven't heard, or if you don't know who this is, just, you know, you can go on to Tidal or Apple Music, whoever, whatever you use. But playing God, listen to this track. The guitars in the beginning of the track, are in your left and right speakers, but the imaging, right? They kind of dual a little bit, and the imaging that that is created, right, with the Prebox S2. I could hear a phantom 3D image, and then when I was listening to the headphones with this DAC, with the K7, that 3D image, right, it got more vivid, right? So then I used it on the CT 7.4s in that system, in my theater system, and again, the guitars in the left and right speakers are way more pronounced. So I wouldn't say that this DAC is forward. I think it's there is a separation between the, as far as the depth is concerned, right? So those guitars, in order to create a 3D image just with two speakers, you have to move that sound forward, and it does while the rest stays back, right? So it was great listening to that track. Next is Norah Jones, Come Away With Me. The brush swirls on the snare drums in the beginning of the track. They actually start on the left side and then transition to left, center, almost to center, and in the background, along with the cymbals and the double bass playing all as one. So it starts, the brush starts in the left, and then when the rest of the music kind of starts going, everything just transitions and they all play as one, to the back recess from the plane of the speakers. The acoustic guitar on the right, and the electric guitar right center, right, sound great, for in the acoustic space that I've been referring to. And then it's all anchored by the beautiful voice of Norah Jones. I mean, it was awesome to listen to this track. Lastly, I listened to a lot more, but I just want to use some examples here. Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, 2015 remaster, 24-bit, 96 kilohertz. The stereo image, right? When he says, when I remember, right? So the track's going, but he says, when I remember, it is more pronounced, and it's again dueling left and right speakers, and that sound is pronounced and kind of comes at you. And then like that to me stood out in that track. And then obviously when the drums just come in, it was a large sound stage. It was a real sound stage. It was great to listen to through this DAC. So as I said, it didn't matter what I threw at it. The K7 did an awesome job in my theater rig, on my desktop setup, through the headphones. Granted, I don't have the best headphones in the world. It's the P5s from B&W. I'm familiar with them, right? So their sound signature, so I use them all the time. Finally, all the good things that I talked about earlier, it's easy to set up, plug and play. The only thing I had to do was download the DSD drivers for, so that I can play DSD music, the ASIO drivers. Other than that, if you don't care about DSD, doesn't matter. It's a plug and play. For you gamers out there, if you're looking for better sound, if you have powered speakers, or if you have headphones, it's you don't want to deal with the computer sound cards, right? This is plug in via USB, and you're good to go, and you'll get an upgrade in your in the sound quality that you get through this DAC instantly. Okay. Talked about the great sound, the wide sound stage, the richness in the overall sound, and then lastly, it's compatible with a variety of headphones because of the high and low gain, and the THX amplifiers that it's got, right? So I highly recommend this K7 DAC headphone amplifier. If you're interested in purchasing this, I'm going to leave the links in the description below that will help support this channel. All right, so that is basically it. I hope you like this video. As usual, please don't forget to like, share, or subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until then, I will see you guys in the next one.